The NFL has certainly seen its fair share of what-if players and scenarios. From Jamarcus Russell's massive talent but even bigger lack of dedication, to John Elway and Eli Manning refusing to play for the teams that drafted them, and even to the Seahawks passing the ball at the end of Super Bowl 49. Sorry, Seahawks fans, I had to. It's always interesting to look back at what the league would have looked like and the impact that these changes would have had in the long run. Lots of these are just fun to wonder about and look back on with a sense of nostalgia, but one of the most common what-ifs are young, promising players sustain career-ending injuries, or at the very least ones that prevent them from reaching their full potential. With 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 51, in the middle of the Patriots' historic 28-3 comeback, Tom Brady and the New England offense found themselves with a crucial 3rd and 11 at the Falcons' 26-yard line. A failure to convert here would result in a long 4th down, and a failure to convert that would all but end the game. In short, the Falcons' defense was a mere 2 defensive stops away from putting an end to arguably the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history before it even really got started. After taking the shotgun snap, Brady looked towards the left sideline and fired a bullet into the hands of diving rookie wide receiver Malcolm Mitchell out of Georgia, who had put starting cornerback C.J. Goodwin on his back with a nasty in-cut right as the ball came towards him. After securing the catch, Mitchell reached the ball out in front of him for a 1st down just before getting touched. Just under 5 minutes later, with the score 28-20 still in favor of the Falcons, the Patriots had a 2nd and 10 from their own 25. Virtually the same play call, and virtually the same result, with Mitchell not only catching the pass for a 1st, but falling down at the top of his route, popping up quickly and immediately adjusting to make the grab for a 1st, fueling the momentum and sparking the beginning of what would be the game-tying touchdown drive. I'm sure you know what happened after this. Brady and the offense drove down the field, scoring a touchdown and the subsequent 2-point conversion to tie the game at 28. They would win the game in overtime, capping off an unbelievable comeback on a James White rushing touchdown. After a decent rookie year that showed flashes of promise for the young receiver Malcolm Mitchell, who finished with 401 yards on 32 catches and 4 touchdowns in 14 regular season games, he would elevate into a major fan favorite following his Super Bowl performance in which he caught 6 passes for 70 yards and snagged all 5 of the passes thrown to him in the deciding 4th quarter, 4 of which were for 1st downs. In the next few weeks, Pats fans predicted his future breakout, with some going as far as labeling him the future of the New England receiving corps. However, problems that arose in the early days of his college career came back to derail his promising NFL future. On day 3 of the 2016 NFL Draft, Bill Belichick and the Patriots brass were looking to get younger at wide receiver. Their solid core of Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and Chris Hogan were all getting older, with both Edelman and Amendola in their 30s and Hogan at 29. At the receiver position, as with just about every other, with age comes increased chance of injury, so depth became increasingly important. After winning the Super Bowl 2 years prior, and coming up just short the year before, losing in the AFC Championship game to the eventual Super Bowl winning Denver Broncos, they were once again reloading to make another championship run. After the Lions selected Southern Utah safety Miles Killebrew with the 111th pick in the 4th round, the Patriots were on the clock. Belichick and the rest of the New England scouts scoured their draft boards and locked in their pick. Former freshman All-SEC member, Charlie Treppi Most Versatile Player Award recipient, Georgia's Comeback Player of the Year Award recipient, and the holder of the 3rd most receiving yards in Georgia history, 5th-year senior wideout Malcolm Mitchell. Mitchell was a very solid producer in Brian Schottenheimer's offense, but ran into some injury problems, missing 3 games his freshman year with a hamstring injury and tearing his ACL in the first game of his junior season, causing him to medically redshirt. After a down year in 2014 after his injury, he rebounded with the best season of his college career, being named offensive captain and hauling in 58 receptions for 865 yards. Mitchell's known leadership and work ethic paid off immediately, when in Week 1 he earned starting snaps and reeled in 2 passes for 33 total yards from backup quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, in wake of Tom Brady's 4-game suspension as a result of one of the biggest controversies in recent league history, Deflategate. He didn't have much production over the next 5 games he played in Weeks 2, 3, 5, 7, and 10, with Week 9 being the team's bye and the others missed due to injury. He only totaled 62 total yards on 5 catches and was still without his first pro touchdown. This would all change in Week 11, however, as he burst back onto the scene in the Patriots' 30-17 win over San Francisco. With Hogan out and Amendola limited, Mitchell led the team in receiving, torching the Niners' defense for 98 yards on 4 catches and his first career touchdown, a 56-yard bomb from Brady that put the nail in the coffin, putting New England up 27-10 in the fourth. He followed that up with 5 grabs for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Jets, and 8 for 82 yards against the Rams, and then 4 for 41 and a touchdown against the Ravens in 4 consecutive weeks. After missing Week 17 in the AFC Divisional Round with injury, he saw limited action in the AFC Championship against Pittsburgh, getting targeted 4 times but only finishing the game with 1 catch for 5 yards. Fortunately for both him and New England, he had 2 weeks in between the championship and the Super Bowl, and boy, did that pay off. The game started, and Mitchell's day started off quickly, with a 7-yard catch on a comeback route going up against corner Jalen Collins. After that catch, though, Mitchell, like the rest of the Patriots' offense, went cold, as the Falcons gained their infamous 28-3 lead. After seeing no action in the second and third quarter, Mitchell came alive and helped elevate the offense. The fourth quarter started, and he opened it up immediately with his second reception of the day, a 15-yard snag on 1st and 10. One play later, he caught a 6-yard crossing route across the middle. While these catches were pretty insignificant at the time, this was the start of a 5-catch, 64-yard fourth quarter that would greatly impact the outcome of the game. A minute and a half later, on the same drive, he beat veteran starter Robert Alford across the middle and ran for an 18-yard gain, converting the second of his 4 first-down conversions in his monster fourth quarter. Mitchell caught probably his 2 most well-known grabs as a Patriot, a 12-yard diving catch to convert a 3rd and 11, and a spectacular 11-yard catch on 2nd and 10 after falling down on the route. While he didn't have any catches in the final 2.5 minutes of the game plus overtime, his contributions in both starting drives and keeping them alive were vital to New England mounting a baffling comeback that will be remembered by fans forever. Mitchell had now become 2 things for the Pats: a Super Bowl champion and a renowned fan favorite. His late-season success and 70-yard Super Bowl performance as a rookie gave fans new hope in the future of the Patriots receiving corps. A few more years of development under his belt, plus the mentorship of Edelman and Amendola, plus the greatest quarterback of all time throwing to him, this rising star was surely going to be good for a while. September 7th, 2017. Just a week after the team traded for Colts wideout Philip Dorsett, and a few months after they traded a first-round pick to the Rams for Brandon Cooks. After only playing in 1 preseason game, the second-year receiver Malcolm Mitchell was placed on IR and was out for at least 8 weeks. This was a devastating blow to both the team and his fans, as they viewed this year as the year he really stepped into the spotlight. All hope wasn't lost, however, as he could be reinstated at any time after the 8 weeks with one of the team's 2 IR return designations. After New England started off hot with a 6-2 record, and both Rob Gronkowski and Brandon Cooks with eventual 1,000-yard seasons, Mitchell was going to be the final piece to a back-to-back Super Bowl winner. But the update about Malcolm Mitchell returning never came. Week after week passed, and Mitchell was never reinstated from IR. New England finished the season 13-3 and made their way, after a bit of a scare against Jacksonville, thank you, Stephon Gilmore, into the Super Bowl against the underdog Philadelphia Eagles, who had miraculously made their way to the big game without their MVP quarterback Carson Wentz. The day of the game came, and Mitchell stayed on the IR, officially missing the entire season. As everyone knows, with the help of the infamous Philly Special, Brady and the Pats came just short of a comeback, and Nick Foles and the Eagles won their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Months into the 2018 offseason, Mitchell's knee injury, which had been present since his second year of college, was still not healed. In July of 2018, he underwent a knee procedure, and on August 6th, New England waived him. He didn't officially announce his retirement throughout the season, one which ended with the Patriots beating the Rams in the Super Bowl 13-3 for their 6th title in franchise history. Mitchell had become all but forgotten. even after in January of 2019 when he announced that he would be trying to make an NFL comeback. He then went dark for 2 months, but finally, on March 23rd, 2019, 25-year-old wide receiver Malcolm Mitchell publicly announced his official retirement from the National Football League, just 2 years removed from being called the future of the New England offense. His knee had 10 total surgeries on it, and for obvious reasons, he stated it as his reason for retirement. After moving on from football, he focused on reading, something he fell in love with in college. He came into Georgia as a middle school level reader, and in what has become a very well-known story around Athens, he ran into a woman at Barnes & Noble while at Georgia, and she revealed she was in a book club and encouraged him to join. After joining the book club, he instantly knew that this was something he loved. He evolved from an avid reader to a rising author. Before his senior season, he published his first book. In his rookie season with the Patriots, he created the still-standing Share the Magic Foundation, which holds the goal of expanding the worldwide love for reading and spreading it to children. Mitchell has been active in the community since his college days and is a well-respected person wherever he goes, whether that be in New England, Georgia, or anywhere else. To finish it all up, Malcolm Mitchell was a young receiver who showed tons of promise and was viewed by some as the next star receiver and later round find by Bill Belichick. His extremely shortened career leaves us with one gigantic question. What if? What if Mitchell had never gotten injured and was able to reach his full potential in New England? What if his knee held on for just a few more seasons and was able to develop a bit more? We'll never know the answer to these questions, but it's certainly interesting to think about what would happen if we were able to see the true potential of Malcolm Mitchell.